Kerala spectrum of jobs and talents. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed Kerala's labour market as well as the working habits of the workforce. This session will give a comprehensive idea of Kerala's workforce current situation and changes in the future. And for this session, we have a speaker, Mr. Sahaj Chawla, and he will be joining with us virtually. He is a seasoned research and analyst practitioner, translating data into insights for a wide range of audience. He is currently leading insights for LinkedIn's public sector clients across APAC. So he'll be talking about the topic, the Kerala spectrum of jobs and talents. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your time today. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about some trends that we've seen in higher education and in India. But before that, I would love to introduce myself to all of you. So my name is Sahaj. I am originally from India. I grew up in Delhi and I came to Singapore. I'm based in Singapore at the moment. I came to Singapore for my undergrad and I've been here ever since. I've been in a variety of industries, most notably market research and then kind of moving on to more big data at LinkedIn at the moment. I've always worked in kind of consumer behavior or the research side, and one of the themes in my career has always been transforming data into insights. For the last 1.5 years, I've been at LinkedIn, and I'm based in Singapore, like I mentioned. And for my current role, I'm leading engagement with our public sector sales verticals. So I'm essentially a cross-functional partner across LinkedIn on insights, supporting sales conversations to drive value for renewals, for pitches, and really to prove the value of LinkedIn for our clients. So it's essentially using a lot of data analytics tools to kind of, for our day-to-day conversations. And I am the Academic and Government Insights Lead for ICTAK. So thank you all for having me. Some of the insights that I'm going to be talking to you all about today are, I know a lot of you are students, so I'm going to talk a little bit about some student member activity that we see on our platform, some insights that we can get from that. And then I'll end off with a talent pool overview of Kerala. So you guys can kind of see what's happening in that space and talk a little bit about evolution of skills and what we're seeing in terms of the future of skills. So to start us off, I want to tell you, I'm going to talk to you about a lot of data points today, so I'll briefly give you an overview of where all that is coming from. So I work for LinkedIn, which is the world's leading professional community and one of the top trusted social platforms in the world. We deeply invested in creating a valuable member experience for everybody. And, every day millions of people come to LinkedIn to make connections, find opportunities, exchange information, and really build that knowledge that they need to transform their careers. So, you see some numbers here in terms of our member base. We have 815 million members, I believe, out of which 85 million are in India. So that's quite a significant chunk. And based on how members interact with our platform, we get a really good overview of what is the diversity of skills that they're adding to their profile, whether that's explicitly or whether that's inferred. But we also see what are some of the courses that they're learning. And at the same time, we also have job posts on our platform, so we can see some of the job seeking activity. So it's a really interesting stat that we have 52 million job seekers every week, and that just goes to show the healthy state of the job market at the moment. So very, very briefly on LinkedIn's ecosystem, a little bit about where we're coming from. It's not just about benefiting our members, it's also a rich ecosystem that helps companies seeking to attract, hire, develop, and retain top talent. In terms of where our members are at, there are different stages in their career journey. They come to LinkedIn to learn more about companies, they come to find job opportunities, engage with people, engage with content from organizations, and really forming an expansive pool of talent for open roles. The same members also come to LinkedIn to follow their interests, learn new skills, tap into this engagement. We've seen organizations supporting growth and development of their people, resulting in happy employees who stay at their organization. And really just to wrap it up, our interactive community means we have a dynamic view into what people care about and really good ability with our data to help corporations engage with the world professionals, which in turn kind of makes hiring and skill building more efficient through intelligent matching, providing real-time insights to help organizations stay ahead. So what does LinkedIn mean for students? And I have a couple of examples here, from some folks who graduated in 2018 and 2016. And as you read through it, I also want to share my personal experience. So when I graduated, LinkedIn was still fairly new, but one of the essential things that one of my professors told me was that you have to have a personal brand, and a personal brand kind of resonates with employers, resonates across your whole career. It speaks a lot louder than your resume. And so I kind of took that comment to heart, and I was always very passionate about building my personal brand. What is my career? What is my career trajectory? And how could I sum it up in a sentence, in a paragraph, and in an essay? So that's kind of a critical skill, and LinkedIn as a platform gives you the ability to do that. And naturally, it kind of helps students get jobs, it helps students get connections, and kind of open up those pathways. And besides these two examples, I'm sure a lot of you are already on LinkedIn, and you kind of speak to the power of that platform and how does that help you kind of drive that outcome. So speaking of driving outcomes, we know that the number one reason that students go to college or university is to get a better job. But at the same time, there's a bit of a dichotomy there where a lot of people say, majority of people say universities did not fully prepare them for their career. So breaking that down a little bit, what does that mean? What does that imply? I think what that implies is a bit about the skills gap between curriculum at the moment and what skills are needed at the end of the day to survive in a job, not even survive, but thrive in a job. So, with that gap in mind, I think we can take that, segue a little bit more into skills, talking about while many students are not clear what skills they have and what skills they need to, what skills they need to learn next and how to find a job. So we have a couple of stats here that, when I kind of asked a few of my friends who are currently in university, they agree. They were like, yeah, we're not sure what exactly we need to start a job in, management consulting. And importantly, the bottom stat is, half of students don't know how to search for a specific job. So there is a gap there. But as and when skills evolve, and I'm going to be talking about some new and important skills that people are learning and new skills are developing, that's kind of the critical lever here is to learn about, is to understand what skills are missing and what skills are growing in the industry that you want to apply to and that you feel that might be relevant for your career down the line. So with that context, I want to talk a little bit about employment, employability, and how people are using LinkedIn to secure their jobs. So out of our student member base, we've seen that the majority of students in India on our platform have used LinkedIn to view or apply for a job in the last year. And what that means is that they're basically using that platform to reach out to their potential employers, form those connections, apply to jobs. And in terms of industries that they're applying to, not super surprising, in India, people are applying to software and IT, corporate services, manufacturing, education, and finance. And so we wanted to dig a little bit deeper into this and understand what that might mean in terms of, we know that they are applying, they're applying to top industries, but how can we try to determine what drives their employability? So we used a model which looked at all sample of the past graduates in India and tried to identify what are the top factors that drive employability. So from a machine learning point of view, what has an uplift on employability? And what we found were three factors really. I'm going to take you through them now. The first one is having a connection with their future employer. So for those of you out there who are thinking, what does this mean? This means that if you were connected, if, say, in a hypothetical example, I was connected to my future employer, that means that one of my LinkedIn connections in the past 6 months before I was working, was already working at the next company. So having that kind of warm connection can spark that discussion, can provide that additional lever, can move the needle, which could drive student employability. The other one is having past work experience. This could be a full-time job, this could be an internship, this could be an apprenticeship, traineeship, any kind of smaller work experience counts when, as a student in this competitive day and age, you are looking for a job. Personal example, before I got my first full-time job, I had a couple of internships under my belt. And from experience, kind of having that internship knowledge, internship experience definitely helps to show the future employers that you're what it takes to do well in a certain job, to do well in a certain industry. That kind of helps you stand out a little bit. And the third one is, do they indicate skill certifications on their profile? So skill certifications, this is a feature of LinkedIn where you can kind of certify certain skills, you can add certificates to your profile, you can kind of do a LinkedIn learning course, and once you've completed that, you can click a button and say, okay, I want to add a skill to my profile. So I think the skills point is linking back to what we saw previously. Like, skills are changing, people don't know what skills they need, but having certification or having that credibility of skill added to your profile definitely helps to elevate student profiles and help them kind of land jobs further down the line. So with these three factors, that's kind of my main segment about students and what we've learned about student employability. I want to go in next on IT talent. So this is IT talent in Kerala specifically. The goal of this section is just to highlight what are some of the evolution of skills needed in today's marketplace. How can we think about, for the employees on the ground, how can we think about what is the current talent, what are some of the different lenses that we might want to apply when looking at potential graduates, when looking at potential talent in the tech space. So being a tech talent myself, I can speak to that, but if we just have a snapshot of where folks working in Kerala in the tech industry, usual suspects, I suppose, in terms of the top companies, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and so on. But interestingly, I think the more interesting part of this is the skills that they're having. So people are growing skills, or the fastest growing skills are in the analytical space, are in API, software testing, JavaScript, front end, Azure, TypeScript, GitHub, and Django. So one important thing to think about for all of you is that, if you think back to 5 years ago, were these skills a thing? Were they still relevant back then? So that's, that kind of goes to show that skills are changing, and a skill like Django, for example, may not have been relevant 5 years ago, may not have even existed 5 years ago. And I often quote this example to my friends who ask about the evolution of skills, and I kind of bring it up. 15 years ago, data scientist was not a real job. And now, if we think about it, it's the most in-demand job, the most in-demand skill. So that's really one of the levers that we must think about, is what might be the next kind of job, what might be the next future of skills that we need to think about. And so while these skills are important starting front, another way we can look at it is evolution of skills. So alluding to what I said earlier about skills evolution, and I know I've said skills a lot today, but it's really a new buzzword that's changing the way employers reward, promote, and hire people. So instead of knowing who do you know or where did you go to school, the question in 2022 is often what can candidates do? And Now is a more important time than ever for employees to be keeping skills up to date and learning new skills as the world of work evolves. Globally, we're seeing that members are adding skills to their LinkedIn profiles like never before. So some LinkedIn data here in 2021 alone, we had almost 286 million skills added on the platform by individual professionals. Next, 45% of hirers on LinkedIn explicitly use skills data to fill their roles on LinkedIn. So again, not only from a member perspective, but also from an organizational perspective, people are using skills-based data to hire folks. And this is increasing, and last year was up 13% year on year. So the big picture here is that skill sets for jobs will shift, are shifting already, and new ones emerge. But learning trending skills can ensure access to opportunities. And according to our data, there are skills that can help employees future-proof their careers. And this is really because of our unique view of 850 million members with millions of job posts around the world. And we can see how skills are changing. And the graph here really speaks to that. So we can see that the tech industry or software industry in India, skills have changed almost 30% since 2015. So a lot of old skills are no longer relevant, but a lot of new skills are there that might not have even existed 5 years ago. So what that means from a job perspective is that jobs are changing, even if you are not changing jobs. And they're doing so at an increasing rate, accelerated by COVID, of course. So what that means for students or what that means for employees is that keeping your skills is the key to staying relevant in your role, landing in your role, and skills are the front and center for all hiring managers searching for the right candidate. And many of my client discussions just comes across. And in this sense, skills are the new currency of the labor market. As jobs evolve and jobs are demanding new skills, hiring managers need to increasingly focus less on traditional proxies like degrees and a bit more on finding talent whose current skills match the role. We're starting to see this take off on LinkedIn. So this is not something that we as an organization say, but more on some of the member activity that we see. And 40% of hirers are using skills data when hiring on LinkedIn. Basically, that means that companies. I was just saying that I'll just start again on this slide. And very quickly as jobs are evolving and demanding new skills, for the hiring managers in the crowd, you must have heard that you need to focus less on traditional proxies like degrees and a bit more on finding talent whose current skills match the role. We've started to see this take off on LinkedIn as 40% of hirers are using skills data to fill open roles. This is up 20% year on year. And then the stat on the right, which is 60% of hirers finding LinkedIn talent are they're 60% more likely to find a successful hire. And basically that means that companies are realizing that skills-based hiring works. And so that's kind of the thought that I wanted to end this session on, where employers are going towards a skills-based model to find new talent and also use skills-based models to grow existing talent. So how can we harness this momentum and bring this to life in a much larger scale to achieve a more equitable and to achieve a more efficient talent ecosystem? So with that, I have come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. It was great listening to you, and I appreciate you for spending your valuable time with us. Thank you, sir.